Hey, hey, welcome to the Summit Host Hangout podcast, where you'll learn how to host a high converting virtual summit that leads to your biggest signature offer launch yet. I'm your host, Krista from Summit in a Box, and today I'm taking you behind the scenes of a virtual summit we have coming up in just a few weeks. This is a first for me because usually I show up after we do things and share the strategy and how it went, but this time I'm kind of giving you an insider look at what it's all like beforehand. And really, I'm recording this episode more than a month before you'll actually hear it. So we're about a little over 2 months out from the summit itself. So some of these things I suppose could change, but I have no idea how any of it will go. So we shall see. I guess I kind of did this with the Behind the Summit series before my last summit in 2022, but this one feels more like exclusive and special. Like I'm sharing deeper parts of the strategy rather than just kind of like walking you through the bigger picture pieces. So it feels new. I think it'll be fun though. So we're going to talk about the summit. I'll give you a little bit of the backstory behind it. And then I'll talk you through the strategy with our positioning, the offers we'll be tying in, the partner we have, the way we're personalizing the summit, and so much good stuff. I'll kind of mention some other experiments too. So I think this should be fun. But to start with a little information about the summit, for the first time ever, I am hosting a summit for membership site owners. First time. And the way we landed on this audience requires a little bit of a backstory. So most of you know that we have a program called the Launch with a Summit Accelerator. And in there, I teach people how to launch courses, memberships, group programs through a summit. And we have a lot of clients doing great things with all different kinds of offers, but our clients with membership sites are the ones where I see it just totally change their life and business the most often. Like, our course clients come in and have some awesome launches, but our membership clients are the ones where they're like, this just changed my life. I just retired my husband. This actually, my membership can sustain me now and it couldn't before. And that impact, I can't get enough of that. And then there's also some fun advantages to having a membership site that you can work into a summit. And that just kind of is like icing on the cake. And I just want to be a part of creating that success for more people, because I actually see a lot of membership site owners writing themselves off when it comes to launching successfully through a summit because of the fact that they have a membership, specifically when they have a lower ticket membership. And both of those things are like strengths. They work very, very well in the summit space. And I just want to draw more attention to that. I want to see more people doing amazing things with their memberships. I think it's such a cool model. And yeah, summits work to really just put fuel on memberships that are, already working at least somewhat well. So with that being said, that's the audience. The positioning was tough for me this time. In the past, I've hosted summits about hosting summits, right? And that just didn't feel right to me this time. And when something doesn't feel right, I really try to listen to it. I am like a faith-based person, so I feel a lot of times like there is like guidance from me in those feelings. And I have, just seen time and time again when I try to force it, the process is miserable. And then it also doesn't work very well. So I didn't have the energy, the ideas for making it special and fun. Like none of that was coming when I was saying, okay, let's just do a new edition of what we've done in the past. So we had to start from scratch. And with how we've been seeing summits perform in the B2B space, I did not want to do something generic, which maybe is where some of that hesitation came from. Use a summit to launch a membership. I guess it's a little different, but I'm so limited in that positioning by my own audience, right? Because there's not very many speakers with memberships who there's no one who I could target who has membership site owners as their audience and they could speak effectively about virtual summits. It would have been very forced. I shouldn't say there's no one out there. I could have made it happen. Maybe I will in the future. It just didn't feel right this time. I wanted to do something that would let me experiment more on the cutting edge, so I can report back to you around how it goes and give our clients and our students the most up-to-date strategies. And I just didn't feel like I could do that with the way we have positioned our summits in the past. So for the first time ever, I decided to take summits out of the forefront of our messaging. You might see that it's still in there a little bit, very lightly, and I'm still setting the stage to be able to talk about it and lead membership site owners to the strategy that I truly believe can change their lives. But it's not what we're leading with. If you search summits on our registration page, I think you'd only find it in my bio and in my presentation title. I don't know that you would really find it anywhere else. And I'll be honest, it is a grand experiment. Something great with how we have positioned our summits in the past. It's use a summit to launch your course. And so people coming are familiar with or interested in summits, which, it just makes it tie into our offers really well. And I know they're, at least somewhat solution aware. And this is going to be different. There's going to be people coming in who summits aren't anywhere on their radar. And as for what I would expect as far as results go, first, I would expect the summit itself to perform better than our summits about summits. So I'm expecting slightly more registrations and I'm expecting more All Access Pass sales, maybe a higher conversion rate there. But I'm expecting fewer offer sales up front, which is going to be really interesting because in the past, our summits for this business, our offer sales are where we make the bulk of our revenue. The first time we did it, we made $78,000 total. Only 15 of that was from All Access Pass sales. The rest was from our offer sales. And I actually don't remember exactly what it was last time, but it was something similar. And this is going to be different. But I think it's going to give us more sales in the long term, since we'll be adding thousands of people to our audience who are the exact people we want to be working with when they're ready. And we've also seen a lot of people with memberships come into our program because of their friends or coaches telling them that that's where they needed to be. And so, building this awareness with thousands of people with memberships, I think will just do good things for us long term. So of course, I'm hoping that the initial event goes well. I'm not aiming for a 6-figure summit by any means. I think it's going to do really great things for us later. So I hope that this kind of opens the conversation up for me to talk about that more, about the long-term benefits of summits, because I don't talk about it enough. And I'm going to be putting it to the ultimate test here. And yeah, just a little bit more as to why I expect fewer sales. Like I said, people aren't going to come in already thinking about hosting summits like they normally do. It will be a new thought for most of them. And I wouldn't expect them to make a decision that they want to host a summit and then commit to a big program right away to make it happen. I would do something like that, but I don't think most people would. We will also have a lot of people signed up who I actually won't encourage to host summits. So if someone's coming to my summit about memberships with a newer membership that they're still trying to figure out, or they haven't even launched their membership yet, I want them to perfect that. I want them to do that before they throw thousands of people at it or add hundreds of members to a not so great membership only to lose them right away. I really do want people to do what's the best for them. So there are a lot of people who I will say, hey, actually, this isn't the best for you. So it really is an experiment to see if the long-term thinking pays off and if we can tie in our offers with the summit that has such different positioning in an effective way. As for how we landed on the final messaging, so I knew we weren't going to do a summit about summits. Ellie was a part of that conversation as well. If you don't know who Ellie is, just go back a couple episodes. I had her on when I brought the whole team on to chat about what it was like to work together and the positions they all hold. So Ellie and I decided we weren't going to specifically talk about summits. And then we pulled in Nadine Nethery from Can Do Content, who she did a really comprehensive audience research for us. And I could have guessed what membership site owners want and need and are struggling with, but I don't even have a membership. So it would have been a guess based on literally just the intake forms of our membership clients, like telling us why they joined the program, what they're struggling with, what their goals are. And I just didn't feel great going off of so little data, especially with messaging that's just brand new to me. So Nadine came in with seriously the best audience survey I have ever seen. We will link to her in the show notes. Highly, highly, highly recommend working with her. This survey had just incredible questions. It had 6 different paths I think people could go down based on, if they answer this question this way, ask them this one next, otherwise ask them this one, and different questions followed that. So good. It got us the exact data we needed. It showed us exactly what types of people we should expect at this event. We got 55 responses total, I think, and it's just gold. So good. And then based on those responses, we were able to decide on the final overall idea and strategy. And then I handed that off to Nadine also to work her copy magic with. And it's just so much better than I would have done on my own. So that is great. That's kind of where the final positioning came from. I'm someone, I like to have the initial idea and then I pull in other people who are better at making it sound good. I can have the idea. I can't always make it sound the best. Maybe you're used to hearing that if you hear me talk on this podcast. But yeah, I think it's going to be really, really great because of them. So next topic. It shouldn't be a secret to you if you're here listening that I'll be tying an offer into the summit. It's what I teach, right? It's what we do in our Launch with the Summit Accelerator. It's what we support people with. And so, number one, I have to do it to continue testing, to continue innovating and seeing what works and what doesn't. But also, I truly think it is the best way I can serve the people who are going to be ready for that step. Why would I leave someone hanging if they come in? They're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm ready to add hundreds of people to my membership. How do I do that? Oh, a summit? Great. I'll figure it out. No, I have exactly what they need. Why would I leave them hanging? But we are doing it in a different way this time. So when I was looking at the audience and the event strategy and deciding which offer to tie in, there wasn't one clear answer. So the Launch with the Summit Accelerator was, of course, my first thought, because that's where the whole audience came from, right? We're hosting the summit because of what we're seeing people do in the accelerator. And my goal is to impact people in that program. But I know that even though we're aiming toward those more experienced membership site owners, there will be just as many, if not more, newer membership site owners who come, right? Whenever you target your messaging to people who are more advanced, I say that in air quotes, newer people will come because they are aspiring to do what you're talking about. That's just how it works. The newbies will always come. And I want to serve them well too. So, I don't think everyone should necessarily do that. I am just willing to put in the work to do it well. It's a lot of extra work, and you'll hear a little bit about it here. So the accelerator was a good fit for some people, not everybody. So then I was like, okay, what about Summit in a Box? Would that be better for people who are still figuring out their membership? And the answer was no. I could have forced it. I could have said, yeah, host a summit. It will help you so much. Here's our program. I've been launching Summit in a Box for 4 years now. I'm used to it. I can make most positioning work, but it just didn't feel right. It would have felt very unaligned and very forced. If someone is still trying to figure out their membership, I want them to do that. I don't want them to stop for 3 months to host a summit because I got them excited about it and then be left afterwards without an offer still. I want them to have something that will convert on an ongoing basis and then tie a summit into that. Of course, people can launch summits without an offer. That's great. But if someone's coming in specifically to learn about memberships, I don't want to throw them off that path for the sake of making some money, right? So Summit in a Box was totally crossed off that list. Summit in a Box will not be mentioned during the summit. And then it just so happens that earlier this year, we launched a new program, Challenges That Make Bank. And at its core, it's a program about using a challenge to engage and sell to your audience between summits so you have an easier launch method, an easier way to keep your people going, an easier way to make the most of the work you put into your summit. But it's also really great for helping you test a new offer and engage your audience in an effective way. And I knew that was perfect for the people who were a little newer to memberships, like a step-by-step way to launch and test that membership. So Challenges That Make Bank got tied in for that. But then I still truly wanted to support people who are really focused on improving our memberships. And I can't do that. That's not my expertise. I don't have a membership. I had a membership for a year, right? While we were building Summit in a Box. And that is where our partnership for this event with Mike from Membership Geeks came in. And maybe partnership isn't the right word. It's more of a collaboration. But Mike is who I'm going to be tying in so that people who just need help with their membership, they're launching something new, they have one that doesn't work very well, Mike can help them with that. So beginners with their memberships can be supported by just Mike or by Mike in the Membership Academy. I'll link to that in the show notes. And me in Challenges That Make Bank. Both of us, one of us, whatever is the best fit for them, we are going to attempt tying all of that into the summit. So in this summit, I'm not going to have just one offer, but 3. And I do not recommend this to many people. I actually don't think I've really ever recommended this because it's a ton of work to do it the right way. But we've done it before. I know what it takes. I have the team behind me. I started planning way early, so we have time to make all of it happen. I don't think I would ever recommend it to a first-time summit host. But essentially, we're going to segment the audience throughout the summit. This time, we're stepping it up and doing it in such a fun way. And then they're going to get the offer that they're the best fit for. And I'm sure we'll have people that, kind of get an idea for what's going on and have issues. And, we'll handle that. But I think it's going to be really good. Like I said, the way we're doing it, though, is also an experiment. So let's talk about that a little bit. So like I said, we're going to have multiple levels of attendees at this event. Even though we're really only marketing to one, we're only marketing to people with proven memberships that work and are ready to scale. I know the beginners are going to come and I want them all to feel welcome coming into my world because I can help them all when they're ready. So we are highly integrating a really strategic and engaging quiz created by Nadine from Can Do Content, again, to kind of create a choose your own adventure type feel for the summit, which I'm so excited about. So it's going to put each person into one of, it looks like about 3 categories. So those categories are going to suggest a really specific schedule of presentations for them to pay attention to, right? I'll maybe highlight 2-3 presentations per day that are really specific to that category. They'll highlight specific All Access Pass bonuses. They will have certain, live experiences pointed out to them, and it will also determine which offer is presented to them. So the entire summit will be customized based on these results. And it's a lot of work, but I think it's going to be so good. I'm excited to report back. And then, of course, we're going to have a default result selected for people who just refuse to take the survey. Even though with the ways the survey is being worked in, it's pretty safe to say that the people who don't take it are just not going to be engaged at all, or they're not likely to take us up on the offer anyway. So it doesn't really matter, but we'll be sure to, do something with those people. I'm hoping at least 30% of people will take the quiz. But I'm really excited to see how it goes, hear the audience's response. I will have an episode a month or so after the summit sharing a recap, but Accelerator clients, we will do a live training where I cover the exact strategy. You'll see my quiz, the results, the automations that went on afterwards, how we customize the experience for each person, all of that, assuming the results are positive. If it's garbage, I won't do any of that. But I think it's going to be really great. So Accelerator clients, you'll get to hear about it all. It's going to be great. So you can incorporate it if you want to. We do have other experiments going on. I'm not going to dive into all these, but something else we're testing is way too many speakers per day to see what it's like when we do that with the strategic segmenting. I'm also going to test live streaming presentations. So the presentations are all pre-recorded, but I'm going to be live both days streaming these bad boys. We're going to see how many people come, if it seems, fun and engaging to them, or if I'm just sitting there by myself. We'll see how it goes. I'm also experimenting with tying in a partner in this way, where the audience makes sense for me, but also there's a gap that I can't quite fill. So I'm bringing in someone else. He's not a sponsor. He's not a co-host. It's different. So we're going to see how that goes. Another experiment is really simplifying the schedule on the final day. Accelerator clients, this is our launch day that I'm referring to. I'll share more about that in the Accelerator. I do not think I'm doing networking and co-working sessions for the first time in a long time. I just don't think the specific audience is going to be interested in it. And I'm also experimenting with a few different things related to speaker engagement. And Accelerator clients, I'll save those things for you too and report back on how those are going. Speaker engagement has been a big pain point I've heard from people lately. So I have a few ideas that I think is really, really going to be great. I think it's going to be good and I will report back. So if you are a membership site owner, head over to summitinabox.co/summit to get on the wait list. Or if you're listening to this a little late or a little after it goes live, registration might already be open. So again, that's summitinabox.co/summit. And if you want the insider scoop on these strategies, if you want the minds of my team and I on your event so you can up-level it in the same way that we are, you need to apply to our Launch with the Summit Accelerator program. In this program, we walk you through step-by-step how to launch a course, membership, or group program with the Summit with every template you need along the way. You also get daily support, weekly coaching, critiques, copy reviews on your work, one-on-one calls, and so much more. And this is where we have the space to work with you on more advanced and highly customized aspects of your summit if that's something you're ready for. So if you want to host an event that stands out, the Accelerator is where you need to be. And you can head to summitinabox.co/apply for more information and to get your application in on that. But thank you so much for tuning in. For show notes and resources mentioned in this episode, head to the link in the episode description wherever you're listening. For now, go out and take action to plan, strategize, and launch your high converting virtual summit.